Welcome back, sporting fans, to another spectacular episode of the Paint the Wall podcast. I, as always, am your host, Steve, and I am joined this week by a man who dips dill pickle chips in milk, but you all know him as Logan.
Yeah, it's one of those underrated combos. You think it shouldn't work, but it does.
Like Oreos and sour cream?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've never tried it, but I guess I could give it a shot.
You should.
I do
Everybody should
love
try
me
it.
some dill pickle chips, you know.
It's ironic. I hate pickles.
That is ironic.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is I don't know how to describe this one.
Yeah. I mean, I got a simple explanation for you.
Sure. Well, we're talking about the 1-1 draw at New York Red Bulls.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. You start. Go ahead.
It's more draw points.
Yeah.
That's a simple explanation.
Yeah.
We've now dropped 22 points from winning positions this season. And the spoiler alert, 22 points has us in what spot? Winning the division, winning the conference. So,
oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
Win in Rome.
Listen, it's just another one of those games that we didn't do what we needed to do to win, which is what it takes on the MLS. You have to just do what you need to do. You're not going to be the dominant team. It's not like the Prem where you have these super dominant teams. Like, it's a much more even league. It takes a lot of games where you just have to do what you need to do to survive a game, and we just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true. And we didn't dominate or win any aspect of the game, really.
Nope.
They pretty much housed us in everything except fouls. We won that, but shots,
and red cards.
Possession,
spoiler.
Yeah, and red cards. Yeah. Shots, possession, everything. It's kind of a wonder they only scored one, but
no kidding.
They are a higher ranked team. So I think it probably went about as most people expected. Still a bummer to give up such a late goal.
Yeah.
And lose points, like you said, and one that we should have been able to hold off and win. But
yeah,
kind of the story of the season, really.
No kidding.
Feels pretty much impossible to make the playoffs now. Still not technically impossible, but we need to basically win out, and we need some help from Minnesota being one of them. Fortunately, they've been playing horribly lately, so the help seems like it's likely to come if we could just do our part. But
maybe, I mean, realistically, we need Minnesota, Dallas, and Austin all to play their parts. And that's a tall order.
It is. Now, we do play two of those teams, one of which on D-Day.
We do.
So that certainly helps.
It does.
But, yeah, it just feels... That's a daunting task right there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with, we also play LAFC twice, technically. Once is for the Open Cup, but we also play Seattle next, Colorado, who's been good. St. Louis, who you never know. You never know what could happen there. It's in St. Louis, so we don't play well there. So, although I would really like to win to shut up all these idiots on Twitter that are just obnoxious.
Yeah.
That would be nice if we could win that one. But
I mean,
it feels like an obligatory required statement to say that we're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But
correct.
I will continue to breathe normally and will not hold my breath.
I mean, looking at the rest of the season, every team we play remaining is either a playoff team or is St. Louis, which you just, again, like you said, you never know when it comes to rivalry games. So there are no gimmies left the rest of the season, and almost every game is a must win. I do not imagine another draw will get us in. I do not think we can. If we want a chance, we have to win out.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and I think since that's the case, I think we pretty much just have to shift, which I'm sure they already have shifted their focus, keep it on the U.S. Open Cup, try to get a trophy.
Absolutely.
Any season you get a trophy is a successful season. I think I will, I'll always stand by that. If you come out with a trophy, it's at least some modicum of a successful season.
Yeah.
So we just got to shift to that. And then I think a lot of players are going to kind of shift into Well, I know they're about to make a lot of cuts because we have a ton of contract movement coming, and I would like to not be one of those players.
Right.
So, or maybe some of them want to be some of those players. I don't know. I don't know how that kind of stuff works. I can imagine wanting to get out of a situation that you're in. That's probably a thing. Some of them probably want to stay, and who knows? So I guess we'll see what happens. But
yeah, it'll be a spicy off season, that's for sure. I definitely think a lot of stuff's coming, but
better.
Yeah, at this point, all focus has to be on winning the OC. I don't 100% believe that it's a successful season. I do agree that it definitely makes the season sit way better if we win an Open Cup, if we come home with nothing, and we finish 12th in the West, and we don't make a playoff that includes 90 or 62% of the league, and if we can't win the Open Cup and we don't make the playoffs and all that, that's a really bad season. So I don't know.
Yeah, but you got to go through bad seasons to get to good ones, right?
Right.
That thing. I don't know.
I don't either. I don't think you have to go through bad seasons to get to good seasons. I think you can just go from good season to good season.
Yeah, true. Look at LAFC.
Yeah, exactly.
Or any other LA. Well, no, LA actually had a terrible season last season.
Yeah,
Galaxy did.
Yeah, Galaxy had a pretty bad season.
So.
Right. I mean,
but they turned it around quickly. So.
Right. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan. I know what it's like to go from good season to good season.
Yeah, it's true. And then to really bad season.
Yeah, now it's really bad. But hey, we beat Cincinnati, so
that's true. That's true.
Let's go.
That's true. Patriots back to their old ways of helping the Chiefs. That's never been a thing.
I think that's more a testament to how bad Cincinnati is going to be this year, not how good we are. But
yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Who knows?
I'm all on board for that. Honestly, that would be the better solution there. But,
sure.
Anyway, tune in later to our upcoming NFL / apparently college football podcast that we'll be starting. We can talk about that. Any good takeaways from this game against the Red Bulls?
Kyrie Shelton, man of the match, or not man of the match. I'm sorry, match of the week,
team of the match
team
day.
of the match day. There it is.
Yeah, him and Polito.
Him and Polito getting team of the match day, which was very impressive for him. Only made less so by the fact that there were only 6 games this weekend. I did forget about that whenever I got excited for him. But still, he still earned it.
Yeah.
So, kudos to him for that. And I think that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Kyrie's been playing well really all season. He's had a few moments, but I think he's progressing well right back. Peter said after the game or at practice this week that he's been trending in the right direction with that, being able to use his size and his speed to really benefit him. So it's kind of a long time coming being able to make team of the match. He also said in the post game that Polito did a lot better to get himself in front of the goal recently, and in my mind I'm like, imagine your number 9 gets himself in front of the goal and he scores one. What a weird concept.
No kidding.
We've only been watching Willie Agata do that for weeks now,
months,
and it just didn't rub off or anything, huh? No, at no point we were like, what if I just kind of slide up?
Yeah, listen, we're starting to see a little bit out of Allen. Maybe that's what maybe he's getting the spark he needs. We're seeing really good stuff out of Kyrie. It seems like we finally figured out a way to use him in a way that's working. And I think you and I are both we're both factual people. Obviously we both have hated on Kyrie Shelton for a long time, but kudos to him. He's doing it. He's proving
on his game,
wrong.
not him as a person.
Right. We've always loved Kyrie as a person, but as we'll see. Hopefully he can carry on. I do wonder if he survives the off season. I don't know. He
survives the off season.
He becomes our highest paid player.
He's not going anywhere. Is he even one of the ones out of contract? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know what to look up. I'm not even going to look that up. It would take me forever to find it, but I don't even know if he's the one out of. But yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, he comes back with a new contract next year for sure.
I'm fine with it. I don't care. That's if he's going to play right back and continue to improve, why not?
Yeah. If we're getting what we get this year out of him, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
I don't know if you're in a question taking mode yet, or if you want to have anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Jake Davis.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about what went down with Jake Davis?
Red card Jake, you talking about?
Sure.
I think that second yellow was awful. Shouldn't have even been I don't even know why the whistle was blown, let alone a foul, let alone a yellow card,
right?
Let alone a second yellow. Like
right.
that, I think it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Great assist though, for a positive.
Beautiful assist.
It was nice of him to keep fighting on that play and get the assist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you asking anything specific or?
Nope, that was it. I was just curious about the red cards.
Yeah, that was mostly. I think that second yellow was awful. Just an awful call. He barely had any contact.
Right.
He didn't push him or anything. He just had his hand like on him, but like his hand wasn't even really on it. It was just like his wrist and.
Yeah, they were just tussling, and
yeah,
it should have been nothing more than a 50-50 ball.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been a foul. It shouldn't have been a card.
Yeah.
Like you said, it shouldn't have been a second yellow. It was so many things it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. It was a very bad call.
Yeah. But now we don't get him for Seattle. We get Agata back. I'm pretty sure.
We do.
But now we don't get Jake for that. So
right. Yeah. Just more we can't string good stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think the only thing I would have to say about Jake Davis is I do think it's one of those that he's got to be smarter than putting himself in that situation. You have to understand that you're on a yellow card, and whereas you're right, he didn't do any, he didn't commit a foul. You have to understand that they're drawing for a second foul. They're going to do whatever it takes. And so you have to be aware of what you're doing and the situations you're putting yourself in, that sometimes you don't fight for those 50-50 balls. Sometimes you just let them concede possession, especially like in the middle of the field like that. So again, I don't agree with the call. I don't think it was a second yellow, but I think Jake Davis does have to have just a smidgen more awareness that you just can't put yourself in that situation to leave it up to the referee. You have to just stay out of those situations.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think if you don't go after a 50-50 ball, that's a real good way to end up on a bench. So,
well, but it's being smart. It's knowing what you can and can't get away with whenever you're on a yellow. You just have to play differently. You have to not quite be as willing to dive in there to go for it. If it's obvious you're not coming away with possession, if it's obvious you're not coming away with the ball, you attack that situation differently. Don't go straight after the ball. Move yourself to a position where you can be better to defend the player once he has the ball.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, he was likely aware that he was on a yellow. Mm-hmm. He did make the play so that there wasn't any contact, and the play got whistled anyway. So the only alternative would be to just not go after that ball. And if you do that, you're on the bench. I don't want you play. If you're not going after 50-50 balls, I have no use for you.
Well, also we're talking the 87th minute, and you pick up a yellow card. Yeah, you should be coming out of the game anyway. But my point is you just, I'm not wording it very well, but I'm not saying you don't go after 50-50 balls, or you don't fight, or you don't do anything. What I'm saying is you just have to be smarter about the way you do it. Instead of going to challenge the man, instead of going in to challenge the player, move yourself into a position where you can then defend the player once he's got the ball. You give him the ball, you give him possession, but move yourself in a different way. So don't challenge for the ball immediately. Just position yourself in a way that you can defend the player once he's got the possession. You just make different decisions.
Yeah, but in that one, the Red Bulls players running towards their goal, and Jake is like a half step behind him. If he just there is no way to put himself in a better position without just letting the guy have the ball and a break towards goal. You can't do that. That's an even worse way to end up on the bench.
I don't agree. I think you're taking a very you're taking the approach of like the player is going to play exactly the same. The player has to play like he's on a yellow. You have to be smarter. You can't put yourself in those situations.
Right, but he did. That's why he didn't make excessive contact. He barely made any contact and made a play for the ball, and it got whistled anyway. If he doesn't make contact with that player, then an attacking player has the ball in their third going towards goal, and you're a whole step behind him. That's the worst position that he could let that Red Bulls player be in.
Well, it's okay. You don't. I'm not commuting myself well. It's okay. Again, I'm not saying that Jake did anything wrong. I'm not saying I'm just saying that's the only thing I would say is I think he has to be a little bit smarter in that moment. But it's okay. You don't agree.
Yeah, I think I don't have any problem with him playing for that. I'd have more of a problem with him not playing that against that ball. I'd rather him try to not let not let an attacker have a breakaway and potentially get a card. I'd rather a ref make the real call or no call is what it should have been.
Of course.
But yeah, I don't want my midfielder just letting them have the ball in an attacking third. I don't want that ever, especially in a game that we're still, even though we already dropped 2 points, we don't want to drop all 3.
You're still not. I'm not saying what I want to say correctly, so it's okay. I'm not saying that I want the guy to just give him the ball and just not defend, but I'm saying something different. But that's okay. It's all good. You're right. Yeah, I'm wrong. We can continue on.
Fair enough. All right. Well, who was your MVP from this game?
It might have been Jake Davis until the red card, and even though the red card wasn't his own fault, I find it really hard to give an MVP on a red card. So I think I have to give it to Kyrie Shelton.
All right.
Like, honestly, it looked really well. He was solid in the back line. The goal we conceded was, I didn't find any fault in the way. I mean, he obviously wasn't significantly part of that play. So for me, I thought he did really well. He had some moments. Again, we're talking about a game with 0.7 expected goals. It's hard to really say anybody had a massive impact on the game. So, but Kyrie Shelton for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine was Jake Davis.
Yeah, that's fair.
Best player on the field. He had the assist. He was fighting for every ball the whole game. I think he was clearly the MVP.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I don't care about the red card because it was a dumb call and it shouldn't have been a red card anyway. So
sure,
so he's my MVP. But
okay, fair enough.
Which will tie directly into my MVP. But go ahead with whoever yours is.
Well, as to not Creed Humphrey, I will allow you to have the MVP that you want, I'm sure.
Yeah, mine's the ref. It was just terrible.
Yeah, there you go.
The whole game, he was terrible the whole game. I know you and I try our best sometimes, not always, to not cop out and choose the ref, but he was horrible the whole game. So
yeah, no, that's valid. For just sake of being different, I am going to say the MVP was whatever mindset we went into this game with, because it sure wasn't it.
Okay.
It just felt like we just didn't have it together.
Yeah.
And there was just something off about this game. And I know that I probably am worse about making this comment of like, we just didn't have it the right thing. And like, but it's that X factor in sports that is uncapturable. It's just the mindset is it can be the ultimate decider. And it just felt like we didn't have the right mindset coming into this game. So I don't know whose fault that is. Coaching, players, captain, I don't know. But this team was just not in the right mindset to win this game. We couldn't do anything. 4 shots, 1 on target, and 0.7 expected goals. You're not winning many games on the road against one of the better home teams in the league.
Mm-hmm. And we already don't play well in New York.
Right. I mean, I think you said it earlier. We should be tremendously lucky to consider coming away with a point at New York Red Bulls. And in a complete vacuum, be amazing. Like that would be a great result. But in the context of where we are, we just do not have the luxury of drawing games anymore, especially not from winning positions. So
exactly.
So that's my MVP. I don't know. I'm confident too, I guess.
Hey, I'll take it. It's not a bad one, so we'll take it.
And it's hard to point at a player. Like aside from the goal, when it was the song and Rosero were kind of in that play.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I can't remember exactly who it was, but
for sure. Tommy was there. Jake, obviously, and Polito. I think Rosero might have been up there. Who knows?
So anyway, before you move on, one more quick question.
Yeah.
Curious if you had any, and we're going into speculation land here. Curious if you had any thoughts on why we haven't seen our new guy yet.
Yeah, he is injured.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he took a knock in practice, and they, I can't remember. I don't remember who tweeted about. I mean, it was probably Daniel Sperry, but
sure.
I can't remember exactly who tweeted. But yeah, he took a knock, and it's kind of one of those, Peter basically said it's not worth it to potentially make this injury worse. It wasn't a bad knock, but it's just not worth it to make it worse just to roll him out. Yeah, so they're just holding him back for a couple more weeks.
Fair enough. Okay.
So I didn't have a problem with it, especially if we already don't know what he has, and he's never played with us anyway. So if he's already got an injury, why risk it being worse? Just wait. It's fine.
And I mean, let's be realistic. We're not talking about making playoffs. So
right. And also, to be fair, we've only given up 1 goal in 3 games.
That's true. Well, but one of those being Indy 11.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But
it's 1 goal in 4 games then if you're counting Indy 11. So still, I mean, yeah, defensively we have been doing very well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make a debut before the end of the season. I bet, as long as this injury doesn't get worse.
Right.
I don't even remember what it was. They may not have even said what it was, but
yeah,
it probably was one of those experiencing tightness or however they word it, that kind of thing. But it didn't sound like it was really that bad. They just don't see the point in risking it being worse just to roll him out. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You got anything else on this one, or should we tie that off?
We can tie a bow on that one.
All right, tie a bow and head over to our other little segment. Quick little segment. Current corner. Talk about the good soccer team in Kansas City, who, ironically, since I just said that, lost 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Or 3 in a row, actually, if you count all the way back to Orlando.
Yeah.
They lost 2 in a row. Last week, the last time we recorded, they had just lost 4-1 to Washington. Yeah, Washington. Since then, they have also lost 2-1 to North Carolina, but then this last weekend, they did get a 1-0 win over Utah. Some small struggles. They did have a swath of new players that they signed. Several really big names too, including our new goalkeeper. So I think hiccups are kind of expected. Vlatko even talked about it, how he is kind of like they will kind of be learning the system while playing. So some hiccups are kind of expected, which has led to back-to-back losses and then a win. Frankly, I'm not really all that worried about it. We are already in such a good standing, and these signings are not just for right now, but they're for the future. They're really to help us build for the future, as well as retain big name people like Bia and Dabinia, those kind of players. We needed some extra money to be able to re-sign them and keep them.
Yeah.
So we had to let some players go and some players sign elsewhere. So moves had to happen. It led to a couple losses, but that only sucks right now. In the terms of the entire season, it's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it at all. They're still my pick to win the whole thing. And now we get Orlando coming up this weekend in Orlando. Another nice little rematch from that last horrendous game that we had. Hopefully we get a different ref, but
I doubt it.
Thing of note, Timwa Chawinga 2 games ago broke the NWSL record for most consecutive games with a goal scored with 7.
Wow.
And then against Utah, she broke it again with 8.
Nice.
So she now has 8 consecutive games with a goal. Pay her whatever amount of money she wants. Who cares? We're talking about moving players around. Add her to the list. Pay her any amount of money she wants, and just keep her in red and teal. Why not?
No kidding.
She's insane. But yeah, Orlando coming up this weekend. That's going to be a tough one, but I bet it'll be good.
Yeah, but so.
All right. That's Current Corner.
All
right. Do you care to we always do that, or we always debate this. Do we care to do a a table update when we're at the bottom? I don't know.
I don't know. I guess the only table update I will provide is, I think since we last recorded, we do have our first team that is officially locked in their playoff spots. Miami has locked in their playoff spots, being first in the East, and 19,000 points ahead of whoever is in last. So, yeah.
I did read something today about Miami is expecting to get Messi back by the playoffs.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Or hoping. I guess maybe it's
about too. Right.
We'll see. LA Galaxy making a push for my mid-season surprise supporters shield winners. They're really making a push. They're only 5 points back. Math, 7 points back. Yeah, 7 points back.
LAFC?
No, LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy, 7 points.
Yeah, they're now at the top of the West, 52 points. They are 4 points clear of LAFC, but they are 7 points off of Supporters Shield.
Yep.
So
they're trying. That's 7 points in 7-ish games left.
Yeah,
that's a lot, but it's not impossible.
That's more than we need. Yeah. Or less than we need.
That's less than we need. Yeah.
Yeah, it could definitely happen.
Yeah,
Who
definitely
do they play? Who do they play coming up? That's actually a good question. They don't play. No, we play LAFC, not Galaxy. Good, they don't play us. They got an LAFC this weekend. Ooh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Portland, Vancouver, Colorado, Austin, Houston. Yeah, they're gonna do it. Maybe.
We'll find out.
All right, let's get to everybody's favorite section: yours, mine, and ours. Good, bad, and ugly.
Let's do it.
Hit me with your good.
My good is today, or I think yesterday, as of this recording. U.S. men's national team have officially announced their new head coach, Mr. Mauricio Pochettino. I mean, most promising signing I think we've had at that position in a while. So
for sure,
we'll see what happens. It's hard to get too many expectations because we're U.S. men's national team fans. So, but it's promising to think that we have a really solid coach and we have what many people have called the golden generation. We'll see what happens.
I have more thoughts on that, but we'll come back to it here in a minute.
Okay. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I love
it. For my good, I would like to change the name of this segment.
Okay. I've done that a couple times, so it's okay.
Yeah. Just for this week, instead of good, bad, and ugly, I would like to call it incredible, bad, and ugly.
Okay. Go for it.
And my incredible goes to the incredible career, performance, and impact that Alex Morgan has had on women's soccer as she retired this week.
Yep.
My good has to go to her retiring in her last game, getting subbed out in the 13th minute, real classy. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Also, side note, I'm sure you've seen the video of her retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice the score?
No, was it 1-3?
No, it was 1-1 in the 13th minute. Like,
that's pretty impressive.
What? Like, I watched the video probably 6 times before I ever even noticed it. But then they showed one that had the scoreboard up on it, and I was like, "How is it 1-1 in the 13th minute?"
That's impressive.
I'm like, "What is this game?"
Yeah,
but no, my incredible for this week goes to Alex Morgan herself for everything she's done for women's soccer, bringing us some World Cups, some Olympic gold medals, and all around just being awesome and fun to watch play because she's really good. And also, I think I heard that she's retiring because she doesn't want to play anymore and because she's pregnant again. So,
good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would say what she's done for club, country, and women soccer, and just women everywhere. One of the greatest to ever play the sport, especially from this country. So congratulations to her. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so good for you. Thank you for everything. I know that you listen to us, so thanks.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, let's move on to bad. Hit me with your bad.
My bad has to go to Columbus, getting the doors blown off them by Seattle 4-0 at home. That's a strange one to me. I don't quite understand that game, but that's my bad. That's not a good one.
That's my ugly. So
Okay.
I'll just throw that in there right now.
Sure.
It's fitting. Crew getting codswalloped, to steal a term from all my British friends. Codswalloped in Seattle. I thought they were supposed to be good. That is a joke. Please don't come for me. I understand losing one game does not make you bad. They'll probably still win the whole thing, but still.
It's very possible.
4-0 in Seattle. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead and hit me with your ugly, and then we'll come back to my bad.
Yeah, I love it.
Because my bad's going to incite conversation. So
okay, my ugly is going to be around whatever the Yahoo is that decides the MLS schedule, because we had a chance to get all the teams level on games played, and then you went and did this short weekend again where there's like 6 teams playing. I understand it's international window is why you did it, but come on.
Yeah. That I like that. That's a good one.
That's my ugly.
Speaking of international window, to my bad goes to the U.S. men's national team.
Oh.
A 1-2 loss to Canada in Kansas City in front of not that many people.
Right.
Not a great look for what's supposed to be the soccer capital of America. There's some foreshadowing for a future conversation for you. I'm starting to agree with you.
Okay.
If we can't pack out for the U.S. men's national team, how are we supposed to be the soccer capital of America? It does make sense.
Right. On Fan Appreciation Day, too.
Right. Yeah. That's ugh. Now, we did roll out basically a B squad against Canada. But side note, good, because remember, I elevated incredible. So my good goes to Steven Afrifa for getting for Canada. How cool.
Good for him.
Please be back by this Saturday, though. That'd be great.
His senior club debut, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So, congratulations.
Anyway, and then a 1-1 draw last night to New Zealand. A little bit better squad. I'd say maybe a B+ squad, maybe an A- squad. Still not a full squad, but which brings me, because you mentioned Poach. I don't remember how they say it. It doesn't matter. I'm curious what you think it will take from him to be successful and put us where we need to be for this upcoming World Cup and give us any shot of winning or doing well. I know I was on the spot. I didn't prep you for that. I'm just curious if you thought about it or anything.
So just to be clear, you're not asking what he needs to do at the World Cup to be considered successful. You're just saying, what does he need to do before the World Cup?
Right.
Well, I think he needs to do what Berhalter never did, which is establish the system, establish the club's identity, and do it very, very quickly.
Okay.
I think the biggest complaint I heard from you, and a big complaint a lot of people had about Greg Berhalter, is that he did too much with the club. He made too many changes. He never let the club settle into a rhythm and identity. I think he needs to do that quickly. He needs to figure out what the identity of this team is, which is crucial for an international club, because you're talking about guys that come from all these various clubs, all these various systems, and you're bringing them all together, and you're basically saying in 2 weeks, you need to figure out how we're going to make this work on an international stage against some of the best talent in the world. And that's not an easy thing to do. And the first step at that is identifying your system and identifying your identity as a team and being very clear and very specific about that. So for me, that's the first thing I need to see is, let's see what our best club is. Let's see what our best squad is. And let's see how they're going to play. So for me, that's the big thing that needs to happen immediately.
Okay. I love that. That was one of my 2.
Okay.
So I agree. The second one kind of goes with before, I think, technically. I think he needs to come in and potentially clean house. Absolutely just clean house.
You're talking about
potentially. Sorry, go ahead.
You're talking about players, just to be clear.
Yes, players. Well, I guess coaches. I don't know that. Whatever there. But I'm talking about players. Yeah.
Okay.
I say potentially because what I think he needs to do is come in and basically have the mentality of, I don't care who you are, Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna. I don't care who you are. Your spot is not safe on this team. You have to earn your spot on this team, because I think one of the biggest issues that we run into is we have so much comfortability on this team. The women's team had the same problem. That's why they did so poorly in not this Olympics, the last World Cup. That's why they did so poorly. They didn't feel like they had any consequences if they did poorly. And Emma Hayes came in and she absolutely changed the mentality of if you want to have that mentality, get out. There are thousands upon thousands of people that will gladly take your spot.
So when you're saying clean house, then you're not saying everybody who's on the roster now has to go. They're not coming back.
So that's
what
why
you're saying is
that's why I say potentially clean.
Right. Every spot's up for grabs. You have to earn your spot back on this club. Okay.
So it could end with we don't end up cleaning house.
Right.
But he needs to go in with the mentality of I don't care who you are, you're fighting for a spot on this team.
Right.
So that way it'll shift those kind of players. You know, even the Pulisic, who is like, if you could pick one person that if you could absolutely guarantee is going to be on this squad, it's probably Pulisic. Even him, like if you don't earn your spot, you will not play on this squad. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen first, and then once you have done that, then we have to get a system, or it has to be kind of a 1A, 1B. It has to be like, you have to earn your spot because this is the system that we are going to run out and this is what we're going to do. And if you don't believe in it, if you don't want to try hard, if you can't figure it out, get out.
Yeah.
So, and I think that absolutely has to apply to everybody. It can't be like just for the, Josh Sargent, Luca Del Torre, those kind of guys. It has to be for everybody, all positions, bench and everything.
Yeah.
Just he has to, because we haven't really had that. Berhalter's always been, a friendly, he's a friend in the locker room. Nobody really feared him. And fear is not necessarily the exact word that I'm looking for, but
yeah. Well, and I understand exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Like Emma Hayes is a great example, the women's coach, because that's exactly what she did. She went in and said, I don't care who you are. I will kick you off this squad.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like you're fitting in or you don't work with my system.
Yeah.
Throwback to what I just said. Alex Morgan didn't make the Olympic squad.
Right.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. I don't think Emma felt like she fit into her thing and was like, I know you're Alex Morgan. I don't care.
Yeah.
We have to do that. We have to, because if we keep on the same path that we're at now, then we're going to get bounced in the group stage in the World Cup on our home soil.
Right.
In the golden age, at the prime of the golden age of this soccer, and we don't have a ton of players lined up behind this golden age to take over. So, it's gotta happen now if it's gonna work. And then I expect most of these senior players will step up and they will earn their spot on this team, but they will have that little bit of fear, not necessarily of the coach, but of knowing like, I actually could lose my spot on this team. It does matter how I play and how I perform, because I could lose my spot.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And I make the comparison to Bill Belichick in the heyday of the Patriots, where he was very clear. I mean, I've heard interviews from Tom Brady who said like he's in the heyday of his career, and he's saying like these dudes would bring in a quarterback and try him out and make it very clear that if he does better than me, I'm on the bench. And like we're talking about, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and like
for now
they made it very clear that like your job's not safe.
Yeah,
go out and earn it.
It shouldn't be. That's how it always should be.
Yeah, and I say always. There is some sense of that you need your players to be comfortable in their role. You don't always want them watching over their shoulders. That does create a little bit of uneasiness. That creates a little bit of unsettling where it adds unnecessary nerves onto something when you don't necessarily want that. So I don't disagree with you. I 100% agree with that. I do think it needs to happen, but you just got to be smart about it. And I think that's where Pochettino, however you say it, Pooch, I think that's the big thing that he's got to come in and he's got to bring that expertise. There's a reason that he got hired, and it's because he has has European expertise in some of the top clubs in the world. And he has to bring that experience, and he has to do it quickly because, like you said, this is the golden age of U.S. soccer. This is what most people consider to be the best team we've ever had. We're hosting a World Cup, and whereas I don't think anybody expects us to win this World Cup, and I think it's unrealistic to expect that we would. I think we have to do really, really well. Especially in the new era where there's 900 teams that are coming and like 800 of those make the knockout stage.
Right.
Like the definition of success in the World Cup is going to change. So we're gonna have to make a run. We're gonna have to beat some teams, and for this to be considered a success, he's got a tall order on him, especially because he was not guaranteed anything after the World Cup. They gave him a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't perform at the World Cup, who knows? So.
Yeah, I'm happy with the signing. I think he's good. I think he will be good, but I think he has to. He just has to establish, this is what it's going to be, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but get out.
Yeah.
But that I just think it has to apply to everybody. It has to.
Yeah.
Because even the players who, even if it doesn't apply to everybody, the players that it does apply to aren't going to take it as seriously.
Right.
And the players that it doesn't apply to are going to take it even less seriously.
Right.
So, but I do agree with what you're saying, but they have to have some sort of comfortability. But I just think that comfortability has to be earned.
Yeah.
It can't just be, I'm Christian. I'm using him. I know internally with you and I pick on Pulisic a lot.
Yeah.
I'm very critical of him. I think rightfully so. But he in particular, it can't be, I'm Christian Pulisic. Of course I'm making this team. We cannot have that until he makes the team.
Sure.
Then he can absolutely be, I'm Christian Pulisic. I'm going to start. I'm going to be the guy.
Yeah.
I have to be the guy. But there has to be that, like, if I become not the guy, I can be replaced. And I know that.
Sure.
Right now, I don't think there's that fear. I think it's, well, I am who I am. Of course, I'm on the squad. I'm not going to get booted. That has to be out of his head. So you just got to find, that's the toughest part with national teams, I think, is finding a coach who can instill that mentality, that find that fine line between fear and comfort of your spot. Just the right amount of, I could lose my spot, but like I know I'm on this team and I'm going to be on this team, but I could lose my spot.
Yeah, I think the great way to describe it is going to be the mindset of it's my job to lose.
Yes.
Once you've earned the spot and it's your spot, you have to have the mindset of it's my spot to lose.
Yeah.
As long as you keep performing well, as long as you keep earning that spot, it's yours.
Yep.
But you have to understand is that if you start falling off, that spot becomes open.
Yeah. So. Perfect. A great example of a position with that is goalkeeper, honestly, Matt Turner. Because we have 3 other goalkeepers who are just as good as Matt Turner.
Sure.
We can put Zach Steffen, again, I have my problems with Zach Steffen, but we could put Zach Steffen or Horvath in that goal and not lose much of a step. Now I prefer Matt Turner. I want him in goal.
Yeah.
But that's got to be one where it's like I'm the best here and I have made my starter spot. But that backup is not, it is not a step down from me. It is at most a half step down.
Right.
And even at that, it's really just because of height and speed. That's really it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I gotta stay on my game or I'm gonna get benched.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree with that.
That just has to apply to everybody. You have to go out and earn your spot because we have a lot of talent right now that can play. Forward's another good one because we have tons of forwards that can step up if I'm not worried about Balogun at all. But we just have a lot of other guys that can step up and So anyway, that's that's my bad.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
I think it's an exciting time to be a U.S. soccer fan. There's a lot of really, really exciting things coming, but
we're at the top of the fence right now.
Yes.
We're sitting at the top of the fence of it's either going to be really exciting or I'm never going to want to watch U.S. men's soccer again.
100%.
Like it's very much teetering on this either happens or it doesn't. And if it doesn't happen now, it may never happen again.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do it now, then our entire program is going to just fall and we don't have stuff to pick it up. And we're not going to get stuff to pick it up because it fell and because nobody's going to believe and it's just going to completely topple.
Yeah. The eyes of the world will be on U.S. national team in the summer of 2026 and we have to perform.
Yep. Have to. We don't have to win it. That's not what I'm saying.
Nope.
That'd be cool, but we cannot get bounced in the group stage.
No.
We cannot lose in the first round knockout to Algeria or some like shock team that, squeaks out of the group stage. None of that can happen. we need to make it to the second, third round of knockout and get beat by France or Argentina or something like that. So, it just can't. That I don't know. We don't have to win it, but that'd be cool if we did.
Yeah, and so now it's going to be 32 teams that make the knockouts.
Okay.
So there are there's 6 rounds now after the group stage. So yeah, I mean, you got to win 1 or 2 in the knockout.
Yeah,
you have to.
And I'm looking up right now what the rankings are. So 32 teams.
We are 14th in FIFA World Rankings right now.
Yes, we are. This says 16th on FIFA's website.
Oh, I was just on the USMNT team.
Gotcha.
And 16th. I'm sorry, I just can't read.
16th. We just dropped 5 spots. But if you go all the way down to 32, obviously it's not going to be the top 32 teams that advance. But I'm just saying, look at where that would be. We're talking from 29 to 34. Here is Sweden, Wales, Hungary, Serbia, Russia, Qatar, Panama.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
We should be able to beat Panama.
Yeah, should be.
Should be.
But
we'll find out. We play them on October 12th. They're actually our next game. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah. So there's, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We can't make the group stage and get beat by Hungary in the first round of the knock. That can't happen. That can't be what we do. That is still a failure.
Yep. 100%.
So we need to go second round and lose to Croatia or Colombia or something like that.
I think we have to win a minimum of 2 knockout games, I think.
How many knockout stages are there now?
6.
Does that include the final?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd say we need to at least make it to the third round of the knockout stage. Unless, of course, I would concede a little. Well, maybe not. I was going to say I would concede a little if in the second round we somehow draw France or something like that. I don't know how they're going to do the seeding, but in my mind, if we draw France in the second round, not draw, if we get France in the second round, it's because we were a low advancer. Probably. So that would have that would mean we barely advance kind of thing.
Yeah, but how the topple effects work of that.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly how it's gonna work. So it is entirely possible that it's France versus Switzerland and us versus Qatar in the first knockout stage, and then we end up playing France in the second round.
Right.
I can't be pissed off if we get beat by France.
Yeah. Right.
That's hard to get pissed off by, but
that's totally valid.
So Anyway. All right. Well, I guess we can preview next week.
Let's do it.
Yay. We play Seattle. In Seattle.
Oh. On Sunday, right? Yeah, only Sunday game.
Yeah, Sunday game. I'm pretty sure it's in Seattle. I guess I forgot to scroll over that part, but
it's in Seattle.
Okay. I'm trying to find it here quickly, but I don't see it. There it is. Lumen Field. Yeah, we do play in Seattle.
Yep.
So this will be a good one, I'm sure. Seattle's 12-7-9. They are 5th in the West right now. They did just beat, as we said earlier, Columbus Crew 4-0.
Yeah.
On the road. Was that in Columbus? Is that really on the road, or am I reading that backwards?
Yeah, it was in Columbus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Anyway, so how do you think this goes?
Seattle's always one of those teams that I never understand Seattle. Every year they're always good, but then they're not, and then they hit a rough patch, and then they always trend in the right direction towards the end of the season. But we have beat them the last 2 times we played them. The last 2 games were 2-1 us, and then the time before that we got the doors blown off of us. I think this is, again, if it was a game played at home, I think we stand a better chance. I think on the road, though, I don't think we come away with the win here. I think Seattle's going to win, and I think it's going to be 3-2.
3-2 Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm going 2-1 Seattle, though.
Yeah.
I think if it's at home, it's a little different, but I don't know. I'm feeling 2-1 Seattle. I would not be surprised if we win this 2-1 either.
Right.
It really just kind of depends. I like that we should have Agata back. That's helpful. Not having Davis is going to be a bummer, but we do have some midfielders that can step up, so maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah, we got midfield depth. Now that he's not playing right back, it's not nearly as painful.
Yeah. So we have some. Yeah, I don't know. I would not be surprised if we win this 2-1. We always step up for Seattle. That's always a tough game.
Yeah.
We always step up, but they're in pretty good form, and they're doing that Seattle end of the year thing that they always do. So, yeah, I think I'm leaning 2-1 Seattle.
I agree.
So, quick point update: you did get the draw right last game. Did not get the score, but got the draw right. So you have 19. I have 21.
All right.
So, awesome. Well, you got anything else?
No, that's all I got.
Yeah, same. All right. Well, you guys can catch us. We are, as always, streaming on the Fired Up Network on True TV app. You can get it on the Amazon App Store, Roku, or Apple TV. We go up Thursday nights, but it plays throughout the week. I did do Timeout Kansas City this week as well, so that should be right before us. If you want to watch more of me, why wouldn't you? We talked about basically everything we talked about today in this episode is what me and Gerald also talked about. So
perfect.
It's almost a carbon copy, except for I'm on the other side of the screen. Anyway, yeah, you can catch us there. Our YouTube, Twitter, all those links are down below in the bottom, as always. Give us a like and a sub on YouTube. Even if you don't watch it on YouTube, that's fine. If you could just go over and like the video and subscribe to it, that would actually be super cool.
That would be pretty nice.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, all right. Well, Logan, I appreciate you as always.
I appreciate you, Steve.
You all have a great week.
See you, everybody.